Greetings and welcome to another edition of Birdview tutorials and feature enhancements. Welcome back everyone to this continuation of our Getting Started series in Birdview. This is the final edition where we focus our attention on project execution. Some of the aids and job tools that are available for project managers as well as for resource managers that will be using the Birdview platform, and we'll also shed some light into those users that would be quantified as collaborators. So let's dive right into it. We have a project, content creation, that in our previous episode was created. It's a dynamic project. We weren't looking to leverage any template. In this specific instance, I'm looking for a resource that can help me satisfy some of the deliverables that we've outlined here by way of activities. There's a blog post that needs to be set up, and then we get into proofing. So I know I have John Doe in our organization that fits this particular resource requirement. How can I accomplish that? We go into our resources tab, and again, depending on the version of the software that you've purchased, you'll be able to leverage our resource planner. Here, we can group by project, resource, and job role. For this example, we're going to stay focused on the resource aspect of it. There's John Doe. I've been able to identify that specific resource, and for this particular period of September through the December period, I'm looking to add John to this content creator project. How do I go about doing that? Now, there's a couple of things that I want to pay attention to. The application already provides me with John's current utilization. I see that by virtue of percentage right across his name in each month. And this particular project for content creation happens to span between the months of November and December. So first order of business, I'm going to go ahead and add the content creation project. Once that project gets added, we see a little marker that appears here. That is thanks in part to the legend that shows you the project timeline. Once that's done, the next bit that I want to be able to do is add an allocation. Now, we do offer you the opportunity to add a soft or a hard allocation. That is just basically depending on you as a resource manager on how you want this to be played out. I require John, in this example, to be working for closer to capacity, maybe at 100%, but we're going to say we're going to trim this down to 50%, keep it a little more realistic, and that gives me a total of 160 hours. Now again, I don't need John working for 160 hours here, so I'm going to reduce that percentage just down to 30%, not for the entire framework of this particular project. I just need John working from the 14th right through mid-December through the 15th. And once we've defined those parameters, we're going to do a soft allocation and see how that plays out. Once that is in place, I see that this doesn't overlap his vacation, which we also capture over here. That vacation seems to end right through the 9th of November, and this particular timeline shows me this is starting around the 14th. Now, had this started around the 9th, you would be able to see that over allocation here. So these are some of the great things that Birdview can help you support as a resource manager. Now, despite of this, I don't see potential over allocation here, so I'm going to go back, click on this, and convert this into a hard allocation. Wonderful. Now that's in place, I have booked and confirmed John is going to be working on the content creation project, not going to be over allocated, still under allocation, so I feel good about this. Quick and easy way to now click on John's name here as an assignee. Once that is done, you will see that John is going to be allocated those hours. How do I know that? I can click on the plus sign again and look at scheduled hours, and here we see that commitment of 40 hours assigned to John in this date range of the 11th through the 1st. We know John's overall availability in this period against all the other projects, the vacations, the public holidays. John is currently available for 259 hours through the course of this particular duration. So we're quite comfortable here to go ahead and assign that. Now, should that have been an potential over allocation, hypothetically speaking, say those hours translated to perhaps 400 hours in that same date range, we would show this as a red marker where there is an over allocation. So let's save this information, and now we've got John set up in there. And then we're going to go on to the next task. Here we're going to assign another resource, and we're going to identify another resource. We're going to assign that same principle where we've got those estimated hours scheduled for this particular resource called the demo user. Once that is done, what are some of the other things that you can do? If there is a financial component to your project, you can also go into the financials, again clicking the ellipsis icon, going into the financials, and here is where you would potentially set up your targets. So by setting up your targets, we offer you two metrics, time and material, and project flat fee. If it is time and material, we do offer you a variance of sub-billing types, if you will, all the way from resource hourly rate billables to customer, to activity, to project, and to rate card. Alternatively, if it is just a flat fee, this is where you would put in your lump sum amount. On the other hand, if this particular project that you're working on is an internal project and you're not really tracking any kind of billable, disable that billable toggle, and now you're left with just tracking the labor cost associated with delivering on that specific non-billable project. If there are any specific expenses that are committed to this, you can now click on the expenses. You can articulate your planned expenses that are committed to deliver on this particular project. Once you have done so, you can also record any payments. So if you know the cadence of payments that you're going to be receiving, you can establish that schedule first, and then as payments are received, you can track that information here as well. And that, in a gist, is essentially your financial overview for your project. You can click on the Overview tab where we'll summarize all of that information. The top row there is all of the cost leading to the estimated at completion cost. The bottom row is all of your billables leading to estimated at completion billable. Now that we've got financial in place, what are some of the other nuances that you as a good project manager can address? We can go into the ellipsis icon again, looking at our More Actions option, Auto Assignment. In this case, I am the author. I'm going to be going ahead and assigning myself author and creator of this project. I want to be in the know. So tomorrow, if another resource adds an activity to it, because they have visibility into it, they will be able to notify me immediately. I'm going to be assigned to it, and then I can delegate it to the correct individual. When we talk about collaboration, you have the ability to collaborate with your client. Now, where do you identify your specific client? In this case, you can come into your project details. You can identify your specific customer. In this case, maybe we're doing this particular website and we're building some content for cool cars. We identify that specific customer. If you know the specific portfolio that your project is going to be affiliated with, here's the place where you would identify that specific portfolio. If there is an appropriate location, if there isn't one, then you could just leave it to none. But in this case, we're going to say that we're going to be putting it into the Google portfolio for right now, and we're going to leave that assignment in there. Once that's taken care of, you have the ability as well to take a snapshot and share the snapshot with your cool car representative that you are collaborating with as a PM. So to capture a project snapshot, you're going to click on the ellipsis icon, you're going to click on the Capture Project Snapshot button, and here is where you are presented with a Gantt view of your specific project. A general good rule of thumb here is to put in the date, in this instance whatever the date is, and then the name of your project. Content for cool cars. Once that's in place, you can identify the parameters based on either one nested level or two, and once that information's all in place, I want to be able to create and capture this particular Gantt shot and share this with the client. So whenever you create these Gantt snapshots, they are housed in Project Snapshots. They're available for you as a static snapshot to share with your client. 2 weeks from now, if you wish to provide them with an update, you're going to come back in here, you're going to capture another snapshot. Now that we've learned how to capture the project snapshot, the next focus will be on the actual collaboration of the project. Who are we going to be collaborating with? Are there any specific nuances about the project? This is where you can come back to your project details. You can provide a summary, the objectives of this particular project in this rich text area field. If there's a checklist of things you need to accomplish, we now support that. You can add those checklist items right there at the project level. They can also be articulated at each of the activity level tasks as well. Now, what's interesting here is we also have a custom field that we are required to fulfill. We collaborate with our CRM solution, HubSpot in this instance, and if there is a specific HubSpot ID associated with Cool Cars, we're going to go ahead and update that information here. So any custom field information will appear on the left pane, and any of the static or native field information will appear on the right pane. Now that we've got that in place, we can go ahead and start to look at collaborating with our resources. Collaboration can be something as simple as you having to comment on a specific node. So go into your task details. At every level, we have something called a message board where you can communicate with your peers. The @mention symbol prompts you to identify a specific resource, be it a non-member or a member, and communicate with them in relevance to this specific blog post activity. Once you've accomplished that, you can post, and you can also have the ability to upload a document. It could be an Excel spreadsheet, a PowerPoint presentation, whatever the case may be. With your version of the software, you'll also have the ability to access your SharePoint library should you be using that as a business or from your local computer. Part of your collaboration may also require you to request for approvals. Now, the approval in its truest sense is a resource that has worked on a specific activity and requires either the approval of a senior manager or someone within the organization that can prove the work that he or she might have done. So in this instance, we're going to click on the paperclip icon. We're going to identify the specific landing page we're looking to build and post of all of our blog posts. So here we've got that specific landing page. I'm going to say, do you approve, and identify my approver using this icon, and I'm going to post this approval to John. I can have multiple approvers or just a single approver. In this case, it's just John, and we're going to go ahead and post. And John receives that approval notification. Once that approval is been submitted, it's either been rejected or approved, you will receive that notification as well. And as a collaborator of the system, when you are working on your specific task, you can find your activities on this My Assignments page. Here are all of your tasks that are condensed to give you that specific information you're looking for. If you're looking for any approvals, you're going to find that information condensed over here. Approvals that are currently in progress versus historical ones. Any notifications you might have missed. And there you have it. That is your project execution. In the next series, we will focus on reporting, monitoring, and closing out of our projects as we execute them in Birdview. We hope you're able to leverage this great new functionality. As always, please continue to share your suggestions or feedback by emailing us at success@birdviewpsa.com. Thank you.